Well, usually I like to post my tips on Tuesday, but what a week it has been to be a fan of the mighty Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. And if you told me last night that when I went to bed tonight that Luke Brooks was going to be a Manly Sea Eagle, I would have said, that's your bloody crazy. But how good is rugby league? I tell you what, there's never a shortage of things to talk about, even in the off season. But as we ramp up to the march towards the finals, I tell you what, it's an interesting time to be a part of the club who is on the Northern Beaches. Manly announcing the re-signing of Tolu Kula. He's not going to those rugby union dogs. We've also signed Luke Brooks on a 4-year deal, Jackson Barlow on a 3-year deal, Tommy Talau on a 2-year deal. It seems that our young gun Latu Fainu is gone, and it seems that there are massive question marks over Josh Schuster still, despite him reportedly having an extension that he can sign really right now if he wanted to. Josh, just please do it. Just all you could do is do some twirly whirlies with your pen. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, comment your thoughts down below. Does Luke Brooks make Manly a better side in 2024? But let's talk about it, because, well, Luke Brooks, he finally will not be a West Tiger after what has been, unfortunately, a failed experiment over his first 10 years in the NRL. A player that came in with such promise. Honestly, it's one of the best debuts in NRL history outside of 2018 and probably his 200th game when they beat the Cowboys 66-18 earlier this year. There's not been much for Luke Brooks to be happy about, I guess. He cops it a lot from the media, and rightfully so. I think this year he's the 4th most highest paid player in the competition, and you could argue he's not even a top 10 half in the NRL at the moment. But it's a good change of scenery for Luke Brooks, and honestly, you take the Schuster, you take the Fainu thing out of it. From Luke Brooks' perspective, he's going to go to Manly, and despite what I said about, well, 48 hours ago now, you're going to have Tom Trbojevic there for a few games a year, but you're going to be playing with guys like Jake Trbojevic, Hamole Olakau'atu, Tolu Kula, Jason Saab, Ruben Garrick, these absolute weapons that he has at his disposal that he really has never had at the West Tigers. But more importantly, he gets to play alongside DCE, one of the best halfbacks of the NRL era. Probably, in people's opinions, he's reclaimed that spot as the NRL's best halfback. If he can't get it right alongside DCE, then maybe he just was never destined to reach such great heights. But Luke Brooks, does he make Manly a better side in 2024? I guess it depends how you look at it. I think short term, it sort of makes sense. At the end of the day, Luke Brooks is a Dally M winning halfback of the year. Anytime you can add that to your roster, it's a great signing. Unfortunately, the problem is that Luke Brooks just hasn't been that player, and that was in 2018. It's not like he did that last year or the year before. But I think why so many Manly fans are upset is just because of who we've had there. We let go of Kieran Foran because we put all our attention into this Josh Schuster kid. Now, I will defend Seabold and the CEO, Tony Mestrop, in this scenario. That was Des and the Fulton's decision. One of them, I know there was a lot of infighting between those two, but both of those factions are no longer with the club, and unfortunately, that is just what happens when there's a new change. It was a big change for Manly last year. People don't forget that. I feel like this is just a completely different management system. Whether you agree with the Brooks signing or not, this is the way they want to go, and Luke Brooks seems to be their man. There are still reports they want to keep Schuster, and my God, I hope we can keep Schuster. People forget that he was playing as an 18-year-old in his first ever full season in the NRL in the back row spot, and he absolutely killed it. He was an Origin smoky at one point. He's one of the best big men ball players of all time. I don't want to sound like a dog to Schuster, because, and I don't mean this to come across the wrong way, because, you know, I'm not exactly the best looking guy when it comes to my body either. But guys like Daniel Cormier in the UFC, for those who don't know, he was a bigger body. He carried a lot of extra mass, I think is a nice way of saying it. And he's one of the best of all time, but he could have probably been better and fought a few weight divisions less. Now, Josh Schuster is nowhere near Daniel Cormier, but maybe instead of Schuster just, you know, shrinking right down, it's easier for him just to eat a bit more, train a bit more in the weights, not be as fit, because at the end of the day, most 5'8" in this game, they're fast, they're quick, they can run 40 meters. When Josh Schuster took that intercept, and he's had a lot of leg injuries So who knows? I think that Josh Schuster probably could make it as a 6. I know there's been a lot of criticism, but you know, he's never going to be one of the best defensive 6s in the competition. Maybe the game plan is just to put him in the back row alongside Brooks. Maybe he can be our Glenn Stewart. And I'd love for Josh Schuster to stay if he doesn't and wants to go to 6. Because at the end of the day, Manly did promise him when he signed this contract extension that he would be the number 6. There's good reports that are saying that Joshy Schuster actually is looking forward to it. Seabell did tell him today, so it's a bit late notice, and I feel like that could have been handled better, but I hope Josh Schuster stays. But the big one, Latu Fainu. Manly have put tons of money into this kid since he was 16 years old, over $1 million at this point, and in a current rugby league landscape, we talk about there's just no up-and-coming halves, and this Latu Fainu, from all reports, is the best of his class. So for Manly to let a young half go, which is at a premium, just a year ago when they let go of a premiership-winning coach, which is also at a premium, for them to make these two decisions, it shows a lot of big, heavy testicles. Yes, I know. I probably didn't have to paint that image in your head, but I just did. Unfortunately, though, Latu is only 18 years old, so we're probably not going to see his prime for another 10 years. Now, look, it'll suck to see him go to the Tigers, and I want every NRL player to do well, but it'll sting me if Latu goes on to kill it. But from all reports, he definitely will. But despite Manly only finishing in the finals 3 times since 2017, despite us only making the prelim once in 2021, when you've got 3 of the top 15 players in the NRL, you're in the win now business. And unfortunately, between Tommy's injuries forever at this point and Jakey's injuries the past few years, we just haven't been consistent enough. I mean, even this year, Tom's gone for the year, but our starting spine of Tom, Schuster, DCE, and Lockie Croker, they played, 5-6 games together? And Manly were undefeated with a points differential of like a plus 150. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. It'll look doom and gloom when we finish probably like 13th because, yeah, it's just been another year where we've been decimated by injuries. But when you have Turbo, you have DC, and you have Jake, you're in the win now business. And when it comes to winning now, maybe Brooks is a better option than a Latu Fainu. Would it have been my decision? Probably not, but I'm trying to look at the positives. When I heard the news, I went from confused to sadness to anger. But the more I thought about it, maybe I've got me maroon and white glasses on, but the more I've thought about it, the more maybe it just starts to make sense. I mean, Luke Brooks had all the talent in the world. If DCE can't get the best out of him, then who knows? Maybe Luke Brooks was just never destined to reach the highs that he did. But I'm happy for Brooks, for Manly. It's going to suck to see Latu Fainu go and absolutely kill it, whether that's at the West Tigers or someone else. In saying that, Luke Brooks was as highly touted as Latu Fainu is right now. So you just never know in rugby league. Will Luke Brooks come to Manly and help us deliver a premiership? Or with Turbo, Cooler, Saab, DCE, Jakey, if they can just all stay fit for once. Stay fit, boys. We're not training next year. We're not training, all right? The forwards can punch on a training. That's the only training we're doing because, honestly, if we just get a middle forward now, I know we love signing outside backs for some reason, but if we can just get like a Matt Lodge or another middle forward like a Greg from Parramatta has been outstanding in Barlow's absence. If we can just get a middle forward or two, Aussie Gordo will come in. Yes, Gordon Chen Gumtong, one of the GOATs. Then I feel like that this is a team. Obviously, Tommy, put an asterisk over Manly's predictions every year until Tommy retires because that bloke is made out of glass. And when he's on, Manly are a top 4 side. And when he's not, unfortunately, you can see it in the past 2 performances. But for the other 2 signings, Tommy Talau, look, it's going to be hard to see where he fits in because Garrick's re-signed as a centre and Tolu Cola's just re-signed. I do think they're both better options. Then we've also got Saab, and we've also just signed Jackson Buller, which I'm a really big fan of. You know, we've been lacking a winger who will just get through his work. Tui Piloto tries, and I'm really a big fan of Veiga, but Jackson Buller, he's big, he's fast. He started the season as one of the Roosters' best players. I don't know how he can't even crack into their starting side at the moment. He kicks goals as well, but he's a guaranteed 150 metres a game, and we need someone to help us start our set. So, Saab, Bolo, Garrett, Cooler, Tommy Taylor coming off the bench. I don't mind it. I do not mind it. So, look, I'm optimistic. Is it genius? Maybe. Could it turn out to be the worst thing the club does since letting Appy go when Fainu went, for a little shiv? Maybe. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know in that comment section. Do you think Luke Brooks makes Manly a better side in 2024 and beyond? Leave that comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any footy content. Because look, you've got to sit here and subscribe to see whether this Luke Brooks thing works out or not. But Brooksy, welcome to Manly, mate. It's not Brookvale Oval. It is now Brooks Oval. Or should I say rather, Brooks Vale Oval. Friday night.